Hi, I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to the Let's Keep Moving with Risha podcast. This is Risha. I'm a motivational speaker, content creator, and I love talking about things that will help you keep moving in your life, especially on areas like your life, mental health, love, growth, and everything in between. So if you're ready, let's keep moving. Hello, beautiful people here on Spotify. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for clicking this episode. Thank you for showing up, for being here today. If you are new here, we do this every Monday. If you're not new here, welcome back. So, as you guys can see, naman, before we even start any episode, we do some casual chats. Anyway, if you guys can notice, 'di ba? I have a different background or like setup, pero same room lang naman to. I'm not in my typical frame setup. I checked out a lot of stuff in the Orange app last week because I'm thinking of like setting up or like rebranding the podcast by next year. So dumating na yung majority ng mga in-order ko, and it's the first time na I've ever ordered like 5-figure sa Orange app. Like it's the first time. Eh, no. Like marami na orders first time, pero not really 5 figures because I've also ordered a lot of stuff then and pricey stuff online. But anyway, the point being is I kind of have a new mic today. I don't know how I sound like. I don't know if this even works. Please let me know in the comments. I was supposed to use my normal microphone, which is the Mauno microphone. I've been using this starting my year in podcasting. Wala pa akong alam at that time. Basta bili lang ako ng mic online. This has worked wonders for me. I've been using this for 2 years. And the thing about this is that it worked perfectly for my tool or like the platform or software I'm using online, which is Crisp. Nothing is sponsored here, guys. Pero I just bought like then a wireless Bluetooth microphone. And then I realized na wala akong OTG for my Mauno. So I just kind of figured it out. And turns out, pwede naman pala na i-connect ko to, microphone na to, or Bluetooth microphone sa laptop. And then, everything is just playing around. So anyway, I just love like the idea. Like before we get started, I just really want to chika you guys na I can remember my first ever episode online here on Spotify. Tandang-tanda ko pa nun, ito lang yung gamit ko. I don't know how everything works at that time. So, nung ni-record ko na 'to, sobrang lala ng background music. Like, hindi ko alam kung paano ko alisin yun. Though may idea ako kung paano kasi I do voice over edits. So, I know how. But it took me so much work. Like, isang episode na edit ko ng mga 3-4 hours. Ganun ako ka-nitty-gritty. Ganun kasobra yung attention to detail ko. Tapos, I realized na, ay, pwede naman pala na hindi ganun i-edit, na hindi siya super noticeable kapag pinapakinggan na. Pero, going back to my point, it just goes to show that you don't have to start things out with everything figured out. As we can see, we've seen this, 'di ba? We've seen creators glow, bloom online. Dati ito lang yung background nila, tapos ngayon ang ganda na, aesthetic na yung background. So it just goes to show na you don't have to have the perfect setup to start a podcast. You don't have to have the perfect setup to start a YouTube channel. Let those be given to you along the way. Let those ideas flow into you along the way. Tendency is when you start figuring things out, okay, what's my background, what's my microphone, or who am I going to interview, or what would be my setup be like, what am I going to use to edit, kapag iniisip mo ng iniisip yung mga yan, maano ka lang, ano yun, analysis paralysis, tapos ang ending, you won't start it, mapapagod ka because you focused on the less important stuff. The most important stuff is you. O, di ba? We're starting already. The most important stuff is you. You don't have, you don't You don't need anything anymore. The talent is you. I was just listening to this particular episode from this podcast, and it says, you don't need more energy in what you're doing. The talent is you. Do the work. You are the talent, therefore you can do it. Yun lang. So I think it's kind of related to our episode today na how to live your best life. So if you're interested to do it your way, to live your best life, then without further ado, let's keep moving. Before we even get started with the first one, I'd like to have like a full disclaimer to first define what the best life for you is like. Ano ba yung best life for you? Is it having a huge house? Is it having a complete happy family? Is it having both? Is it having a medium-sized house? Is it having a huge farm? Is it having stuff like that? The tips I'm going to share in this particular episode is based on what a good life and what the best life for me really is. And that is okay if it doesn't resonate with you. But what's important here is I want you to define what the best life for you is. Kasi baka yung best life ko, hindi mo best life. Baka yung best life ko, hindi naman ganun kataas yung gusto mo for you. Baka yung best life ko sobrang liit compared to your definition of what the best life for you really is. So what I'm pointing out is, before we get started sa episode na to, sa mga sasabihin ko, sa mga natutunan ko, what matters to you? Like, answer it. Is it money? Is it a complete family? Is it food? Is it the basic necessities? Is it having it all? Is it being super rich? Is it being super wealthy? Is it being physically healthy? Is it being both? So it's a factor of a lot of things. And I want to have a full disclaimer on that kasi baka along the way you get to realize that this is not what I want naman. This is not what I want to prioritize like in the future. The first thing that I'd like to share, and this is all these three are from the School of Greatness podcast. I have been binge listening and binge watching their episodes. I used to listen to Mel Robbins a lot, but I felt like, okay, I need to explore other podcasters as well. So I discovered the School of Greatness podcast. And the guest in this particular episodes that I'll be sharing is Ryan Surhant, if I'm not mistaken. So the first lesson na natutunan ko from that particular episode is that start falling in love with failing. We hate to fail not because we're afraid of failing, but because we're actually afraid of being embarrassed. And in my head, I couldn't agree more. We're not afraid of failing. Actually, it's really okay for us if we don't get to the top, or we don't get honors, or we don't get appreciated, or we don't get that money, we don't get that award. It's just that sometimes, and most of the time, we're so afraid of looking like a failure in front of other people. I remember my sister was so stressed during the first few months of the semester or of the grading kapag high school. And ang nakakapagpa-stress daw sa kanya is because nakakahiya daw kapag wala siyang honor na yung first grading. Eh, may honor siya last grading nung last year. And it pains me that I kind of see myself in my sisters. Kasi ganun ako nung high school, and I know a lot of people can relate. It's a huge embarrassment on my end if I don't get consistent going honors or having honors. Kasi in my head, yun na nga lang ginagawa ko. Yun na nga lang yung trabaho ko. Tapos hindi ko pa nagawa, tapos hindi ko pa na-achieve, tapos na-disappoint ko pa yung sarili ko. So I guess living a best life or living your best life is going to start by you embracing failing. Start falling in love with it. In this particular episode of the School of Greatness podcast, sabi doon, he failed a lot of businesses. He lost a lot of money. And not a lot of people know that. It only goes to show that people only cares when it's done already. People only cheers you up when you don't need it anymore. People only root for you when you don't need that anymore. So during that time when you're starting, during that time of handling everything or doing your startup or starting that business, it's normal that no one really cheers for you. It's normal that no one believes in you. It's normal that people think you're crazy. It's normal that people think you're out of your mind because people will only cheer for you when you get there, when you made it already. And I'm not saying this is for a lot of people. Of course, we have our people naman who really supports us either way, kahit wala pa tayo doon. But do not be afraid of disappointing people who do not even matter in your life. Do not even care about disappointing that auntie or that tita or that tito of yours. At the end of the day, she doesn't care. She only cares during reunions. She only cares during the chica time. She only cares during those times. But people also had lives of their own. So that's just something that you might want to think about moving forward in your life. Sometimes you've got to work really hard and you've got to accept that not all people will be there on your pathway. And here's the thing, the harder you work, the easier it is for luck to find you. And I think it's a cool realization. We tend to realize that luck is a natural thing, it's a coincidence, but not really. Luck is something that will favor you once you're doing the work, once you're putting something out there, once you're giving. So make sure that before you get to demand luck to favor you, make sure that you're doing the work. Make sure you're showing up. Make sure you're actually doing something and showing up and putting yourself out there. Sabi nga, 'di ba? What stands in the way becomes the way. Whatever hurdle or challenges that you might encounter while you're doing the hard work is the way. There's no shortcuts. There's actually there's absolutely no other way for you to go through what's meant for you unless you do the work. And you'll be amazed that your stupidest decision can be the pathway to your biggest victory. And I'll go back to my core. I thought that quitting engineering was the stupidest decision I've ever made. And true enough, a lot of people also thought that way. Na 2 taon na lang naman, ba't di mo pa tinapos? 2 taon na lang naman yung titiisin mo, ba't di mo pa tiniis? But that's also 2 months of suffering when I know I had a way out. That's also 2 months of not choosing myself. That's also 2 months of not being able to do something I love and I'm passionate about. So whatever season of your life you are right now, it's important talaga na you consider every challenge as pathway. One way or another, friends, you're going to learn from it. And if you're going to look back, dun mo lang magigets na okay, yung particular challenge pala yun ng buhay ko. Kaya pala siya nangyari sa life ko is because I am going to use that skill, to use that lesson into my current circumstances. And you wouldn't pass through this current circumstances kung hindi nangyari yon. So, I guess this is my mission. This is really my mission to tell everybody, to tell you that the quote, everything happens for a reason, is true in itself, but there's a huge meaning behind that. there's really a huge meaning behind that. Like every little thing happens for a reason. And that reason is there to serve you. So you've got to push through. Kailangan tuloy-tuloy lang. And that's the first one. Before we get to move on to the second one, I'll truly appreciate it if you can give this episode a 5-star rating. Um, it still makes me kilig every time I see the 1.1K na rating sa taas ng Spotify. So, yeah. If this episode speaks to you, please do give me a follow here on Spotify and give this episode a 5-star rating. And also, guys, I am also on a lot of social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I kind of got surprised when I was posting on TikTok and tapos biglang sinasabi ng tao na, oh my gosh, ito pala yung pinapakinggan ko sa Spotify. You guys don't know I am on all other platforms. So please follow me there. Say hi. I post every day. I post every night. Dito sa Spotify, I only get to post once a week. Doon guys, Facebook to TikTok, Instagram, every day, every night. So be there. The second powerful thing that you can start doing to live your best life is to believe that the more energy you have, the more energy you can give. So the thing that you're going to do is that do something to increase that energy. And I know this sounds tricky, pero hear me out, okay? The way you increase your energy, the way you increase your vibration is by spending time with yourself. It is by exercising, it's by moving your body, it's by writing things down, it's by meditating, it's by getting in touch with your inner self. It's by getting to know you. I posted this viral TikTok video. Nagulat nga ako. Nag-viral siya. And a lot of people are actually asking me, how do you really get to know yourself? You don't get to know yourself at a full extent. There's no such thing as someone na kilala niya na yung sarili niya. Walang ganon. Every day until death is a continuous process. But I think that shouldn't stop us from at least doing something to get to know us. Pwede mong i-date yung sarili mo, pwede kang kumain sa labas mag-isa, and just observe you. Observe how you react, observe your routine, observe your emotions, observe, and then later identify what happened. How is this relating to my personality, to my emotions, to my life, to how I behave, to how I make decisions? A lot of people lack introspection. Believe me, a lot of people lack introspection. We are so good at watching other people, but we actually fail to watch ourselves. What is happening to us while we're watching other people? Masama din naman yung puro sarili mo na lang din. Kasi I've been there. I think at some point in my life, I've always been about myself. I've always been about who I am, about what can I do. But it's also equally important na as you watch the world around you, watch yourself while doing it. Introspection is beautiful. You'll realize how interesting your life is. You'll realize how interesting to be yourself, like, di ba? Parang everybody can be interesting around you. Pero you can also be interesting. And you can be the first one who will be interested and who should be interested about your life. Remember that the more energy you have, the more you can give. And we human beings, our number one of our main roles in life is to serve other people. And it's hard to serve other people when you don't have the energy. 'Di ba? So, as early as now, and as soon as you hear this message from me, realize that it isn't just enough to serve other people. It isn't just enough to watch the world. it's so important to watch yourself, to look at yourself, to watch how you behave, how you react, what your feelings are. Kasi you can watch your life change once you start doing that. The third thing, and definitely the most important thing you're hearing today, is to live your best life. You've got to choose adventure over tasks. So what does that mean? You have to live majority of your life as a human being and not as a human doing. Because no one will remember how late you worked consistently for the whole week, but you will be remembered by how many hours you spent with the people you love, by how many hours you spent with your friends as you took that vacation, by how many hours you spent doing something you love. You will not be remembered by the hours you worked, okay? Slow down. Like, slow the hell down. There's no race. There's absolutely no reason for you to work like 24 hours or five jobs. Slow it down. I'm kind of hearing myself and I'm kind of taking my advice right now. Kasi there's this moments for the past few weeks that I felt like I need to work hard. I need to add another job. I need to take on another role. I need to do this. I need to do that. And while doing more is okay, especially if you really want to give to people, really want to be of service. But if it's getting to the extent of affecting your health, then I don't think it's worth it. Risha, I don't think it's worth it. Um, it's hard to be on the hardworking side of life. I don't know, but I can't even sit down doing nothing. I don't know if you guys can relate, pero I feel this sense of guilt every time I'm not doing anything. I'm supposed to be working, supposed to be doing this, I'm supposed to be having this, I'm supposed to be what? 'Di ba? So, parang I'm just 22 and I'm rushing myself towards being successful based on the hours I work, and for sure a lot of people can relate. When you don't know what to prioritize, 'di ba? Sabi nga, when you don't know what to prioritize, prioritize yourself. Maybe this is both our calls and our signs to start prioritizing ourselves first before we decide what else to prioritize. Hindi naman nagmamadali ang mundo. I would say life is not a race, but that's a cliche. Pero I think we failed to remember that no one is rushing us. No one is giving us a deadline on life. Life is so beautiful that we can own it. Life is beautiful that we can do everything at our own pace and at our own divine timing. So take this time to prioritize you, to spend more time with the people you love, and be more present. Kanina lang nagjo-jogging ako. I was with the Jurens and sabi ko, oh my gosh, maybe it's the damn phone. It's the first time na um I jogged or we were running and I was not taking videos or that. I'm just in the moment. Actually, pagka click ko ng start ng run to just measure my pace, nilagay ko na siya dun sa wallet ko and then I run. And imagine that's like an hour of not having my phone with me. And maybe it's the damn phone. Maybe it's the damn phone. I know how useful phones are in our daily lives, pero let's if we really want to live our best lives, let's learn to be present. I guess other than what we talked about, I would say that living your best life is a choice. But despite it being a choice, no one out there is rushing you. However, I also want to say that stop waiting for anything to live your best life when you can do the choice to live it today. Life is now, life is here, life is nowhere but here. And life is with the people you love. Life is with the people who truly matters. And true enough, happiness is not achieved when you wait. Happiness is when you savor the moment and make the most out of it. That's about it, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. I don't know if what I said to you makes sense, but even if it doesn't, I hope you get to live a life that's meaningful for you and that is for you. I mean, I hope you get to live a life that is the best one for you based on your standards, based on what you think is really right, based on what feels right for you. But yeah, I hope you got some insights from today's episode. That's always my intention. Kahit isa lang na may matutunan kayo today. Um, yeah, for the Q&A comment rather, what do you think is stopping you from living your best life? Just tell us about it in the comment section. I read it all. Pag yan na-publish na sa Spotify, it means I read it all. So, I may not be able to reply to everybody. Pero I'm reading it all, guys. So your message is really reaching me. For the poll naman, I am just curious. Are you living your best life? It's okay if not yet. Okay? It's really okay if you're not yet there. You can also share your favorite takeaways on social media. Don't forget to tag me at Risha Marceliana because your feedback, like what I've always been saying, really matters to me and it helps me grow. It helps me keep going and it helps me apply all those lessons then. Again, this has been your friend and your host, Risha. Know that I am grateful for you. I have always been. And I'm rooting for you. I am rooting for you big time. Like, seriously, I'm rooting for you big time. I'll see you in the next few days. Don't forget to always keep moving. Bye!